Hey guys, I'm Onin, and I've got a pretty cool replay here that I want to show off, and with it, get an opportunity to talk about formulating a game plan in a match of Battlerite. So, I'm playing Taya, I'm solo queuing, so I have no idea who these Paloma and Croak are, and I don't really have any opportunity to communicate with them, or really set up too much coordination. And I'm playing against Jackazzm, Eldrith, and Oppa, who are at that point queuing together as a team. And they're playing Chief as always, Paloma, and Lucy, so a double healer setup. So I kind of want to talk about, throughout this replay, my decision making as a solo player and figure out how to approach each round, what my job is as a Taya, and how I try to make it work, how I try to work around that without having any communication with the rest of my team. So I don't have the opportunity to set up combos with Croak very much. I just have to figure out what I, as a solo player, can do to try and win this kind of a matchup. So I'm going to talk in between rounds, so I talk a little bit about Battlerite choices. So I'm always going to go with Cold Wind, the snare on M1. Just throughout the start of the game, it's not super great, but it synergizes amazingly with your ultimate. And especially on a champion that doesn't really have two great EXs, you're going to be spending most of your energy, or at least planning to, on your ultimate. And getting this to lock down targets while you're just chucking boomerangs in their face is just super powerful. And, you know, any kind of buff to an ultimate at round 1 is gonna pay dividends along the match, almost guaranteed. So Paloma's doing the basic solo rank thing of getting the other side healing, which again, if you can't really combo things up, then it's just the safe choice. And Croak's going for the root on his lunge, which I'm usually not much of a fan of, but we are playing against double healers, so it can pay dividends pretty well. So as a Taya, playing against double healers is kind of a really good matchup for me, because neither of these healers have a really powerful space. Paloma's is pretty slow. She has other side, but that's much more valuable, and baiting that out at any point is always worthwhile. And Lucy just has nothing to get out of my signature wind bomb to X-Strike combo, unless she wants to spend energy on that as well with her roll, but you know, you gotta get that energy first. You wouldn't be spending it on petrifies, deadly injects, etc. So basically, the start of the game plan is these guys are the weakest against my best source of damage, so I'm gonna try to get on them as much as possible. The downside to their comp, as you will immediately see, is that they have a Shifu. And Shifu is very good at tunneling down a Taya. A bit less now that the returning boomerangs don't trigger trances anymore, so it doesn't get it absolutely for free all the time. But he still has a lot of control if he times his skills well, like he does right here, immediately spacing so I can't wind strike him off my face. He can do a lot of damage to me, and I have trouble getting him off me without spending any energy of my own. So he already has the game plan of stick on the Taya. He's the easiest to get onto, and by pressuring Taya, you also make sure that your healers are safe from her damage. So basically, he's countering my game plan. And I'm trying to get off him, but the way the map is laid out just keeps everything close to me. I can't really get behind the walls because then Paloma can't heal me. Then his Paloma space is in, so they're completely walling me off from my healer. I can't get a single heal, so he has to pop his other side, and I have to get back towards her. I could at this point move to the right, but then there's a very good chance that Jackazzm just chases me down, and without any other supports, I would just immediately die. I do get a bit of a setup on the pump to get a bit of damage in return, which is, you know, my game plan myself. But for now, I'm kind of in dire straits, down to 30 life, gonna get healed up a little bit later, but I need to get out of here. I need to get this Shifu off my face. So there goes my energy, and with a lucky trance going the wrong way, I can get him off me for just a little while. So now I still have to back up, but I can keep him off me for the most part. And now I can start aiming for those healers. I just do not care about the Shifu as long as he's not on my face. And there we get just the greatest combo that we can get on the Lucy. She's in dire straits, but a really good EX Harpoon into Impale kills me off. So Lucy's still alive, but she was forced back from all of the damage that she took. She practically almost died, but she got a bunch of pickups, and I'm pretty sure the rune kill, so that healed her up pretty decently. But it also spreads up the entire team, and now we just have Paloma and Croak immediately doing what has to be done and forcing the enemy Paloma into a corner away from her team, ulting her, and just almost killing her with the barrier and the other side, but she's so low that Croak can most likely chase her down. Almost. As you can see, Jackazzm was doing all he could to just spend his energy to keep his healer alive. Oppa's doing the best he can with positioning himself aggressively, and I don't think he's been spending energy on Petrify, which would be very useful here, but I have no idea how much energy actually has. He should have enough. But then we get Lucy in a combo, so it's just the barrier herself, immediate switch to the Paloma, another ultimate up. Sadly doesn't hit the Paloma because other side was up. But just constantly switching targets so that they're not sure who they have to barrier, and there's the opening to get the counter kill. And now it's just mostly up to the energy deficiency and just the fact that Oppa's Lucy hasn't really been doing a good job of getting away from pressure. Now she has another ultimate landing on top of her. She should be able to roll out of here. I don't think it's on cooldown, but Croak is gonna chase straight after her, so it's gonna be difficult for her to survive here. It's gonna be difficult for Jackazzm to do anything to keep her alive because he's also low, and well, an ultimate is definitely a good amount of pressure, but not when Paloma's ulti is still healing up the Paloma. He's got another in-cap, but it's unlikely to be enough to keep him, to keep his team off pressure. There's a Petrify to keep everyone CC'd, but there's just easily enough damage and Jackazzm was out of outs. And he rolled too early, couldn't dodge the Venom Explosion. And there we go with the first round. So for me as the Taya, that was basically a bit of a wake-up call. So I went in with the idea, I'm gonna destroy these healers. And, well, I kind of didn't, because there was a Shifu in the way. Most of that came down to my own positioning. We go back to the start of the round. Right over here. This is where I'm like, Lucy is my main target, I'm gonna go for him. But Jackazzm is just, you know, like, Taya is my main target. And I have this position where he just has walls behind her and nowhere to run. And with all of a Shifu's mobility, it becomes super easy to focus her down. So, basically, from here on, I need to avoid Jackazzm far more than I've been doing in the first round. And hopefully that'll avoid me going down to 50 health within the first 20 seconds of the match. So let's see. Battlerites. That's not showing the screen. Show me the screen. So here I have a pretty interesting choice to make, because all of these have their benefits. If I was thinking that the last round was gonna be typical for this game, I would probably get the Wind Strike heal. Because I'd basically be spamming this on cooldown to keep Shifu off me, and every bit of health would count. But it's not how I want to play the game. I could be getting Crosscut to get me some more rune control and to maximize my damage on the healers. Or I could be getting Vortex as extra CC to keep the Shifu away from myself and the rest of the team, and also as some additional control when I try to go in on the healers. So the latter is basically the safest option. It gives me both a bit of bonus to my game plan of keeping the healers pressured and doing all the damage I can to them, and also keeping the Shifu off my face. Because I can hunt this on both of them, and it does both of those things. The crosscut might have been a bit better, but in the last round we had absolutely no chance for rune control, so that's mostly why I'm going to skip over it in this match. You've got more damage, more protection, because we definitely need that, and typical things over here. So immediately, Jackazzm again runs in, and I try to get away from him and just give him the space that he demands. Because the other thing I kind of noticed in the previous round, although I wasn't able to benefit from it because of how low I went very early, was that the right side of the arena was very empty. So, first things first, try and put a little bit of pressure on Jackazzm to not give him the freest opening, but missing a javelin when you have to stand still to hit your M1s is very easy, so he just makes use of that. But at this stage, I can back off because there's so much room here. Look at how much room. And I immediately go for the healers because that's my game plan. And now Shifu is on the other side of their team and I can wreak as much havoc as I want. I do get panicked with a nice root panic combo. Not much I can do about that. It does give Jackazzm the opening to immediately go for me again. But here we have something kind of going wrong. I just got other-sided, and I have no idea why. And that's not good. I might be thinking of a little bit of a different point in this game. Okay, or even a different game entirely. Let me just back off a little bit to get my bearings back. So yeah, I get other-sided, I get a bit of a better positioning, and Jackazzm tries to use his EX to keep pressure off himself while he keeps going for me. I don't think that was really necessary, because again, I don't want to kill him. And he should have noticed by now that I haven't been doing much damage to him, I've just been peeling him off of me. So instead, I get to use my ultimate, and with that bonus movement speed from mounted, I get back into the position that I want to be, which is killing healers. I get a bunch of damage on Paloma, dodge or scream, get rooted, and take a lot of damage suddenly. Kinda came out of nowhere, but that was a Ghost Wolf bouncing between her and me, I'm pretty sure. Back a little further. Because you have this shield of, I'm pretty sure just 30 damage. And just one spell. Bounce, 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 and it's gone. And then I don't really have my defenses anymore. I still think I can kill her. But then comes the immaterial from her ultimate, which dodges my wind strike, what was supposed to kill her. Gets me snared. Oppa turns around and finishes me off, even though there is a croak on his face. Good thinking, good awareness, and totally deserved kill. Paloma is close, but Croak decides not to go for her and instead pull the pressure on Oppa, who actually did dodge the Venom explosion right there, so it didn't even achieve anything. There comes a barrier. They do get the Paloma. There's not enough appeal for them as Jackazzm was going for the rune, but that extra movement speed or extra energy bonus is going to help them out, I think. We've got a couple of ultis go out. So Palomas is kind of on the rim, not really aimed all that well. I think he's trying to force the Lucy away from the Jackazzm, but just hitting the complete ulti on the Lucy is not that difficult. So you should try to go for that at all times. And Lucy now has Paloma stuck in goo, so either he has to blow other side on a single ability, which gives Jackazzm all the openings he needs, or he's just taking tons of damage. He might not even have other side up, because he just used it on Croak. Does get the counter kill, but now it's Jackazzm's famed Spearmaster with an ultimate against this Croak that I've never heard of. But, you know, he's rank 12, on grade 12, he's not terrible. Tries all he can, but without any healing rights, he just isn't really in a position to win this. Especially not against someone who is so good at 1v1s as Jackazzm. Gets another rune for free, because that's another thing that in this matchup you just get for free. And that gives you so much energy when you're last hero standing in a 3v3. That is just no way for him to lose at that stage. So, that match didn't exactly go wrong for me. If you look at my stats, damage could have been better, but I didn't get a single X-Strike off. Well, I got a few X-Strikes off, but not really a good one after the start. Mostly that was because the healers were forced into the corners with the walls. And that's the one thing as a Taya you have to kind of try to work around, even though you really can't. Don't really do much about where other people position themselves. When you have walls and tight corridors, X-Strike just kind of becomes worthless. You can start using your EX instead, but it does so much less damage that it's barely even worthwhile unless you really have to interrupt something. Get these people to shut up. But I still kind of feel pressured by Jackazzm, so I can relieve pressure from my allies, but from my healer by just healing myself with my X-Strikes. At this point, probably not going to be enough to really make a difference in this game. What I usually do is grab the Wind Bomb hit for extra cooldown reduction. If you hit this on 2 people, it basically has no cooldown and it's super strong. I would think... I don't know what I picked. So let's just see what I picked. Yeah, okay, I went for Breeze. So I still have a Jackazzm Shifu on my face constantly. And I also kind of have the feeling that I might need to save my allies at some point from him. So I get Breeze to give my outs significantly greater strength, giving them haste after landing so that I keep them, or myself, temporary invulnerability and then immediately above to get them out of danger. Mostly plan on using this on myself, just in case Jackazzm locks me down badly, but it could also help my allies. But yeah, so nothing really went entirely wrong for me in that game. I just kind of got unfortunately destroyed in what should have been a good situation by a very well done Ghost Wolf that I just really didn't see coming. So I'm gonna mostly try and do the same thing. Which is stay away from Jackazzm, unmount him, get other sided immediately, which is maybe a little bit excessive. And then try to aim for healers while also relieving Jackazzm's pressure. I'm honestly not entirely sure why he just went back immediately. I guess he must have been out of outs. Like, he's a really good SM, so he never overextends. That's basically his trademark. But it's kind of giving me the opportunity to get out of this corner. Because being in this corner would be the absolute worst for all of us. It would be easy to double incap. A Ghost Wolf would always hit everyone. Panics would get us in bad situations, and the orb is about to spawn, so we really need to get out of here to be able to get some space. Sadly, they do still get that one, but thanks to a Kunju proc that I was trying to avoid, but he just got it anyway, I do actually manage to knock him completely away from my team, which is perfect. And now, both of their healers standing kinda close together, with Croak on their face, with me on their face. This is going to give us an opportunity for some really good damage, while still trying to get Jackazzm off of us. So here comes the Wind Bomb. And she immediately has the other side, and Lucy has no choice but to just eat it. We do get double incat to relieve some of the pressure, but we still have the good position to go in for this. A Paloma holds basically used for healing. There's no way that was going to hit any of our DPS, so just to try and relieve some pressure. But gives me time to get my ulti, hit both people with it, get a good angle to keep on hitting these things, and then Jackazzm decides to ulti me, even though every single one of my hits slows him, and there's no way he can keep up with me. If it was close enough, he would have been able to dismount me, perhaps? But as it turns out, it just does practically nothing, while Croak is still on top of his healers. Other side is down, his ulti is up, and I'm going back in there. And look at that! Oh yes, that feels so good. That there is basically my game plan. All I want to do is that. Wind Bomb into X-Strike on both healers who are forced to stand together because they have to keep themselves up to keep each other protected, because Lucy doesn't really have mobility, and Paloma's mobility is either kind of difficult to really make use of, or just too valuable with the other side. And Jackazzm just, once he used this incap, he doesn't really have tools to help his allies that much. And now, just wonderful. Blind shot at the core, at the top. Knock the rune away from him so he can't get it. And just finish him off with an ulti and, you know, 3 men. Jackazzm may be great, but this is unwinnable. So that's everything going perfectly. Jackazzm several times got knocked away from our team, so we had to start using cooldowns and stuff to get back into the fray. And for most of that round, we just had mid control with Jackazzm behind and his healers in front. Which, you know, for him isn't the worst position because we weren't pressuring him that much. But it does mean that he has a hard time selecting targets, pressuring any of us, because we're 3 guys getting healed by Paloma and supporting each other, and he's one guy just trying to find someone to poke. Without the pressure from his healers, from Ghost Wolves hitting us, from deadly injects, he just isn't all that scary. Oh yeah, Battlerites. So I go for Inspiration because I need this energy. I need to have the Safeguard of Tornado as soon as possible, and my ulti as soon as possible, just to get my most powerful tools for both defense and offense in the matchup as soon as possible. I basically always get this, honestly. Personally, I don't think anything is ever better than getting energy faster. Like, the bonus to your maximum is something I don't really care about. It's the 10% bonus gained, generated from hits, that I think is just better than everything. Not everyone will agree. Some people, like Jackazzm, often switches between Inspiration and Ferocity, because Ferocity, the extra weapon charge to for your Impale, can give you some significantly greater burst damage, especially with Poised to Strike. Like, you have 1 weapon charge randomly, you hit a Kunju, you immediately have 4 weapon charges, and you poke someone in the face for almost 40 damage. It's potentially ridiculous. But energy is just so important for having your tools, getting them early, getting your ultis before other people get your ultis. So I'm gonna always take that. Once again, there's Jackazzm. I'm not sure why I went up again. That didn't really work out the first time. Going down seemed to work, but I am staying more back to not give Jackazzm the free opening I gave him first round. And he seems to be less interested in hitting me. Like, he's being safe with it. Miss a wind bomb. If I hit that on Paloma, it's either just eating an X strike or using an out really early. So I always try and go for that if I have the room. But she is positioned as far back as possible, because she is actually more vulnerable than Lucy, even in this 0 energy position. Jackazzm misses a javelin. How is that possible? And then Lucy tries to go on me. I'm not sure why I wind striked, let's be honest. I just knocked her from kind of a bad position into a less bad position. I mean, for me, that wasn't a great position to deal damage regardless, because wall here, I can't X strike, and I don't really want to stand too close to her, for fear of not being able to dodge things. But I should have probably kept her in there for Croak. Although he does have Jackazzm on his face now, so it might have worked for relieving his pressure. I don't know. Might have been a big mistake. But now, because I realize he's being focused, I wind bomb Jackazzm, something I normally wouldn't even consider. But it keeps him off him, and the rune spawns. So that ensures we get this for her. It gets sniped by Oppa. Fuck. And the dot. Yeah, that's the worst thing in this fucking game, getting your runes sniped because you weren't paying attention just a tiny bit. Not that there was much we were able to do. Someone had to stand in front and body block that, which kind of isn't my job, but you know, it just sucks. I'm not sure if I had X strike off cooldown. I probably did, and I probably should have used that to secure it, but Paloma was already hitting it. I know. Either way. So in this position, Croak is about to go in on the healers. Jackazzm is running straight towards us. So now I have 2 choices. Either ignore Jackazzm, let him do whatever the fuck he wants. Or I can kind of start pressuring him so that he doesn't feel like this opening is free. Plus, Kunju's off cooldown. I basically know this because I know when it got triggered last time. It was a while ago. We just killed the rune, and he's just... the way he's walking in just tells you he's trying to javelin. If that doesn't work, he's trying to Kunju. He just walks back to help Croak instead. Okay. But that was not a very good idea, because we just got a combo. He did get an in-cap on Croak, which relieves a bit of pressure, but he should have probably gone in on me. Might have not had cooldowns, might have had Javelin on cooldown, in which case this was kind of his only option. But don't stand behind your healer while she's getting extract. It's not a good idea. Not the greatest ulti setup. I could have probably hit that mount up, and now I'm in a bit of a pickle. I'm not sure who I'm supposed to target, so actually I just have to run back. And Jackazzm body blocks me, and Paloma dodges everything. The body block keeps me in a dangerous situation. That was just not a good ulti at all. Very well kept out. Then Jackazzm gets the Javelin immediately after the wind strike, so I need another side. Luckily I get it. And it completely destroys his ultimate. Which is perhaps not a good idea. And again, a fucking snipe, because he had the Kunju charges. Croak, however, did a pretty good job of putting pressure on the healers, making sure they don't set up anything, and barely took any damage in the process, and now even baited out Paloma's ulti. Which gives him plenty. Oh, I had to proc that, but it's worth it, because Jackazzm isn't really my target. But I do have to now get the hell out of there. With the haste Battlerite really helping, without that I would have not gotten away from here. Second haste, thanks to that. Will I finally get a rune? The X-Strike actually kind of misses, which I don't know how that works. But okay. So Paloma got ulted by Lucy, I think? Let me just turn back to see how her health dropped so badly. No, she got... Yeah, that was a deadly inject popping and Jackazzm sitting on her face, so... Now it's her getting a panic on Jackazzm's ultimate, so he practically has it. She'll know that, Croak will know that. I probably didn't see that, so me not so much. But we did get at least one explosion from Croak's ulti, so we're kind of behind, but Croak is in the middle of them. He has plenty of health, so we can keep playing this. Just gotta keep our eyes on Paloma. And keep doing that, hitting great X strikes just after the trance, just as Lucy is being CC'd, and in this wonderful arc where sometimes these walls can help you, because then they can't dodge sideways, and the only way is into the X strike. Ultimate, not very great, because everyone else retreated behind walls. This does mean no pressure for us, which is good for Paloma, gives her some of her health back. And Jackazzm is just trying to get away and get a better position. Still gets hit a little bit. Love the other side, and now actually both ultimates are completely wasted. So now we have a pretty good energy advantage. Croak's almost at his. I kind of didn't want to hit this thing with X-Strike because it would have been sniped. And now it's kind of too late unless Croak gets the camouflage hit, which he does. Yeah, and we did get it. Honestly, that looked orange. I don't know why it looked orange. It should have been blue for hours. Either way, 3 ultis. What can we do with this? Start with damage on Paloma, bait another side, get incapacitated, and explosion already, so it didn't really do much. So kind of negated very well by them. It's good of them to notice that we're gonna have it and have all of their counters ready for countering. But Oppa is getting some decent pressure, and I see that, so let's try and get Jackazzm off me. And try and get back into my favorite position, which is hoping to hit X strikes, but just being a little bit too far away. But we get the rune again, thanks to X strike. That's kind of why I like the bonus damage on X strike. It gives you that rune control by making it super easy for you to last hit, rather than decently easy. But now I'm in a bit of a pickle. Again, Jackazzm on my face. I'm low. Paloma is way away, so I just have to get the hell out of there. Jackazzm already realizes that, so he immediately backs off, so that I have to hop towards him, basically. But he tries to Kunju, and I just have a wind strike ready. And then Paloma ults straight on top of Lucy. I have a wind bomb. Bam! Look at that. One more boomerang, and we've got the kill on the healer. Paloma has to run away. I keep her away so that she can't help Jackazzm at all. And there we go. With ultimates ready, with death coming, the death zone coming. And we get it. So there you go. You have, even in solo MMR, you can, with a bit of thinking things through, you can figure out what you're supposed to do as whatever healer you pick, whatever character you pick. As a solo Taya against double healer comp, I know Jackazzm is gonna be on my face constantly, so I need to find ways to get him off me. But my game plan is killing his healers because they are not very sturdy against my combos. X-Strike rips through them, ulti setup can rip through them if they don't have their outs ready. Our Croak knew that, well, basically the same. He can't really do much against Jackazzm, so he has to stay in between the healers, keeping them pressured, keeping them distracted, while trying to take as little damage as possible, which he did a really good job at. Despite not getting any of the healing rights, he was never even close to death. And then our Paloma just had the job of surviving, which wasn't that difficult considering Jackazzm wasn't tunneling him. Might have been a better idea, might have worked out better for them, who knows, we don't. But there you go. That's how you figure out a game plan, figure out how to adjust it, realizing what their game plan becomes and how you can adjust your own plan to make it less weak against them, figure out how to solve their issues, pick your Battlerites correctly, get more control when you need it, get the extra escapes when the only way you can lose is running out of escapes. And, you know, that's how you beat Jackazzm in solo MMR without any team coordination. But thanks for watching. I'm gonna be trying to do more of these if I get some good games going, or, you know, if I find some other cool replays somewhere. So, thanks for watching, and see you around.